how the Odyssey continues cinema's tradition of epic innovation. Christopher Nolan's innovative approach to the Odyssey places him among the pioneering epic filmmakers of early cinema history, who used large-scale productions to expand what cinema could achieve. Like Abel Gance, Giovanni Pastrone and D.W. Griffith, who used early historical epics as opportunities to develop new technology, visual languages and production methods, Nolan has approached Homer's story as a way to push the boundaries of filmmaking itself. Epic films have pressured filmmakers to expand the size of the cinematic frame due to the scale of historical battles, landscapes, and major set pieces that they want to show. Abel Gance in Napoleon in 1927 believed that the finale sequence could not be achieved with its impended impact with a standard frame. So his solution was polyvision, a widescreen format that projected 3 separate images simultaneously to create a 4:1 aspect ratio. Although the format was difficult to reproduce in cinemas and created visible seams down the images, it showed how epic storytelling forced early filmmakers to rethink the basic structure of cinema to get their visuals across. Nearly a century later, Nolan has used a similar approach with The Odyssey. The film is the first feature film to be shot entirely on IMAX film cameras, to be presented in a 1.43:1 expanded aspect ratio, rather than reserving the format for select sequences alone. Nolan has wanted to shoot an entire film on IMAX since he was about 16 years old, but the technology previously made that impossible. The cameras were too large and noisy to record usable dialogue during close-up scenes, so to overcome this, Nolan worked with IMAX to develop lighter and quieter cameras, with new sound suppression blimps, allowing them to be placed closer to the actors during dialogue scenes, and using mirrors in order for the actors to play off one another when the cameras got in the way. Epic films have also changed how filmmakers use the camera to connect audiences with more domestic moments in their large-scale worlds. Giovanni Pastrone's Cabiria in 1914 was one of the earliest examples of this. While earlier films had used basic camera movements, Cabiria introduced a new sense of freedom through its use of dollies, allowing the camera to move through environments, follow the action, and move towards and away from subjects. The technique became known as the Cabiria shot or Cabiria movements, and helped establish the tracking shot as a major cinematic tool. Nolan has approached the Odyssey with the same principle. Large-scale environments are only effective if audiences physically feel present in them, and they can connect with the humans. Working with his longtime collaborator, cinematographer Hoyte van Hoytma, Nolan developed a complex camera system to place viewers inside the action, including a rotating platform known as the turntable, which allowed the camera to move around closer to the actors during the fight scenes, so you feel almost as if you are there. Epic films have always required filmmakers to physically construct worlds that allow audiences and actors to physically inhabit. Nolan had built extensive practical effects and environments and set pieces for the Odyssey, including the Palace of Ithaca on one of Los Angeles' tallest sound stages, where Hoyte van Hoytma used flickering LED lights hidden inside braziers to create realistic firelight. The production also created a 60-foot practical Cyclops using animatronics and puppetry, and a 36-foot Trojan horse weighing more than 8,800 pounds that the actors and the cinematographer and Nolan could clamber inside to get the desired shots. This continues the tradition of early Hollywood epics, such as D.W. Griffith's Intolerance in 1916, which was inspired by Cabiria and became the largest production of its era. Griffiths built monumental sets, used more than 3,000 extras, and constructed a Babylonian city with walls reported around 300 feet tall on the streets of Los Angeles. The scale became so extreme that after filming, Griffith could not afford to dismantle the sets, so left them standing until 1919, when they were declared a fire hazard and demolished by the Los Angeles Fire Department. Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey has become part of a tradition where pioneering filmmakers use the demand of epic storytelling to attempt what has never been done before. Nolan's approach to The Odyssey continues that legacy of early filmmakers who were having to come up with new ways of telling stories and new technologies because there wasn't any other. But Nolan pushes cinema forward by using his own new technologies, experimental cinematography, and building practical sets and enormous set pieces that, like those early epics, are going to be talked about for years to come.